Hi people, and hello my ChiliCon Carnage crew, it's Chili here from Live Listen and Race, doing a reaction video. This time it's going to be from a news article that I've got here from Living 101, and it's the most overrated rock bands of all time. So there's going to be some controversial picks, I'd imagine, and this is just my reaction to the list. You know, I'm going to read over it, give my thoughts in regards to some artists here, and well, we'll see what they've got here written up. So here we go, we're going to go over this list right now. But before we do that, don't forget that if you enjoy the material, go ahead and give this video a like, and also don't forget to subscribe. We got new material out every week. So without further ado, let's get into this. Alrighty, so Living 101, the most overrated rock bands of all times, ranked by how overrated they are. So does that make number one the most overrated band? Or just the first on the list here, I don't know. But as you can see up on screen probably now, the first one's going to be Bon Iver. For an indie band, Bon Iver is surprisingly repetitive. Yeah, that's a bit true. I've only listened to a little bit of Bon Iver, so I'm not going to say that I'm the best person to speak to in regards to their material. But yeah, it does get a bit repetitive. That's a point, I guess. So yeah, Bon Iver, I guess. But again, I'm not a huge fan of them. I'm not going to weigh in too much there. What do you guys think? Is Bon Iver overrated or overhyped? I should probably say overrated would be the better word here. So Bon Iver up first, and here we go. What's going to be the second one? I wonder what you think will be up here in the list as well. Okay, so listen to one of their songs. Yeah, if you like it in style. Yep. Journey. Oh, interesting here. Pick with the second one. Journey, who I actually just realised I think they got their 50th anniversary of being a band together at the moment, as of possibly today, as of recording of today anyway. 50 years of Journey, everyone. So Journey is Neil Schon's band. Neil Schon used to be the guitarist for Santana. So after he split with Santana, he formed the band Journey. Yeah, so Journey coming up on the list there. That's a bit of a surprise. Overrated, I don't know about that, because for me, Journey's probably only had about 2 or 3 good albums. I mean, yeah, Don't Stop Believing, like I said here, Don't Stop Believing, one of the greatest rock anthems of all times, or Any Way You Want It. Yeah, I think Any Way You Want It's a bit overdone. I guess if I heard it one more time, I'd be like, oh, yeah, okay, maybe one more time. But I guess when it comes to the production levels, it kind of feels like it's wearing thin. It's not timeless. It does have a timestamp, I think. It's just an elongated version. But yeah, I just feel like Any Way You Want It, the production's just not right for perfection, I guess. Yeah, look, it's fun to throw in a bit of Journey, like it says here. But I mean, yeah, do they have enormous mainstream success? Yeah, I guess so. Yes, they did release a new album last year, which I also did a review on. Not that good, to be honest. But yeah, Journey as the second pick for most overrated bands. Sure, I guess so. I don't know. I just never really rated Journey to begin with. So yeah, okay. What else will be up here on this list? Asia. Interesting that we have another band that is an offshoot of another famous band, I think. Asia was some former members from Yes, if my memory is correct. So, yes, Heat of the Moment is a fun... Yeah, see, I never rated Asia. I didn't like them. But, yeah, Heat of the Moment's not a bad song. Again, this is like 80s or very late 70s anyway, kind of party anthems, rock anthems, that it was. Asia and Journey, both of them. I know Journey was around since like 75 or whatever, but let's face it, you know, Journey had their fame mostly towards the end of the 70s there. Asia, same thing, I feel. I know they've been around for a while, but yeah, Asia, I never really rated them. They're a fun band, yeah, like it says here, but yeah, they never did anything groundbreaking. Exactly right. They never really did anything outside the square. So, yeah, you got to rate it high, I guess. I've never seen people rate Asia too high on their list of favorite bands. So, I guess you can say it's an overrated band. Why not? I'd agree with it, I guess. So yeah, let's go on here to see what else you have. So the fourth one up, there's so many ads here. Boston, again with all these 80s and late 70s rock bands. I guess it's going to be like that for this list. Boston, I mean, what, they only really had one album? I know they've got a few, but for like Boston, they only had that one really good album. And yeah, I guess it's true. Like I'm reading here in the article here, this hair metal band gets way more credit than they deserve. And I guess to a degree they kind of invented hair metal. I wouldn't say metal, but rock, hair rock or whatever. The very first self-titled album from Boston is really good. Foreplay Long Time, I think, is one of the greatest underplayed songs anyway. Just this fantastic little jam piece. But yeah, okay, so what are they thinking? Boston actually turns out to be Kansas or America. Ouch. Yeah, fair point though. There's a reason for that. They all kind of sound the same. I can see Boston and Kansas and America fans throwing up arms. More Than a Feeling is a perfectly decent song, but how many others can you name? Long Time Foreplay. Foreplay Long Time. That's the other song. That's it. Really, that's it. Besides the first album, I don't know anything outside of it. But that's for a reason. I'm fairly certain they only had like 4 albums. Well, didn't they break up after their second album? My memory's slipping here, but correct me if I'm wrong. So we'll continue on there. AC/DC. Ooh, controversy. Here we come. AC/DC being part of the overrated list. What's the reasons for this? Because I'll weigh in a minute. This may start some boos from the crowd. Yeah, you're not shitting there. But we've never really understood the appeal of AC/DC. Of course you don't. You don't know rock. Thunderstruck is literally just listening to a man screaming the word thunder over and over again. Okay, fair enough then. I mean, you could say that about a lot of music to go, but whatever. AC/DC's song routine seems to be choosing a single word or short phrase and then just repeating it for the whole performance. You're not wrong. Look, they're simplistic songs, but they're simple for for that reason. Sometimes simple is best. You look at the Ramones, for example, simplicity at its finest. We're going to play 3 chords and play it for 2 minutes, and that's it. AC/DC plays 5 chords, and yep, they're going to play it for 5 minutes. There's a little bit of a difference. But, I mean, overrated? No, I don't think they're overrated. I think they'll be on the cusp of being overrated, though. They earned their stripes. AC/DC I'm defending. I don't think that they should be part of this list. Yuck. Not a good... Yeah, well, there's the controversy. Soldiers blared Hell's Bells when they rolled into Iraq back in the early 2000s to hype themselves up for battles to come. On that front, AC/DC was a perfect choice. But for everyone else, Highway to Hell is fun for road trips and not much else. Bitch, please. Have you not played any other songs? It's a long way to the top if you like rock and roll. Far out. Whole lot of Rosie. Yeah, TNT. I mean, shit, that list goes... Pretty much almost their first, 6 albums are just insanely good. And, I mean, it's like... This is Australia's answer to the bluesy rock. It's pub rock. It is what it is. But it is different to traditional blues rock, I guess. What musicians were doing in the 70s in regards to rock and all that, AC/DC varied it up in an Aussie kind of way. And it was different for its time, little bit. I'm not saying great, vastly different, but, it was definitely more energetic. Especially when you have Bon Scott over there doing the bloody, doing his moves and shit on stage. That guy could rev up any crowd. Watch the bloody, watch the video clip to It's a Long Way to the Top if you want to rock and roll. That is one of the best video clips ever. I mean, shit. Overrated? Shut up. I disagree strongly. Oasis, everyone. You know what? I was reading a comment just the other day where Noel Gallagher was going off at... Oh, I can't remember. It doesn't matter. Noel Gallagher was going off at some musician, declaring them overhyped or whatever. They don't like their music. And I heard someone say about Oasis thinking they're nothing more than a Beatles fan group. You know? And they had their 5 minutes in their sun that lasted for 15. So yeah, look, besides the first two albums, not much else for me. I don't like the rest of their material. In their third album was an overbloated piece of shit. Yeah, everyone agrees with that. It was terrible. It was horrific. You ask Doz though, and I'm sure he'll defend them. So yeah, one clear sign your band isn't the greatest is when your fans know way more about your members' petty squabbles than the lyrics of your songs. Nah, I don't really want to know about the petty squabbles. We know that they're squabbling, we know what they do. That's how they are. But yes, we know that's just how they kind of were. Anyway, yeah, look, the only thing I'll just say is Wonderwalker is a song that I will never want to hear again. But you know, Dixby's Dinner, Champagne Supernova, I love that song. A lot of stuff from their first album, which kind of gets overshadowed by the second album, is really good, like Rock and Roller and whatever. But yeah, like, if you're feeling over Oasis, or if you can only think of, I guess, Wonderwall and all the rest, go to their first album and re-listen to it, because it really is quite a good album. So here we go with Paul McCartney famously commented that Oasis made the mistake of saying they'd be bigger than the Beatles. That's weird, because I know it's probably a misquoted term, but I'm pretty sure John Lennon said they were bigger than Jesus. I'm not sure if that's a misquoted statement or not, but that's an odd thing for Paul McCartney to say if that John Lennon statement is true. Oh, God, there are so many bands bigger than the Beatles. Anyway, his words came true. Oasis never came near the levels of the influence on our society that the Beatles had, and frankly, we don't think they would have deserved it anyway. You say that, but for a band that's been dissolved for the last 15 odd years, people are still very much talking about them and playing their music. Yeah, the Beatles have been dissolved for going on 50 years now. And people still play their music, but I guarantee in 50 years' time, people will still be playing Oasis too. You know, they had their short time in the sun, much like the Beatles did too. So, do they deserve being up here in the overrated rock bands of all time? Yeah, I'd say Oasis do. They are pretty overrated. Guns N' Roses. I could see people typing angry comments below right now. So, Axl Rose had a special talent for going on long extended monologues. Yeah, we know that. Their stage presence was undeniable. Yeah, of course. Look, they had a terrific stage presence when it came to Guns N' Roses. They knew how to do things. So, I guess, you know, the Appetite for Destruction is just an incredible album. From start to finish, I'd say it's pretty much a perfect album. And I really wouldn't mind covering Appetite for Destruction, or maybe Use Your Illusion 1 and 2 in a future episode of Retro Reviews, because it's odd that, you know, Guns N' Roses were a hair metal band, but Appetite for Destruction is pretty much the iconic album when it comes to hair metal, all hair metal bands, but it was like on the death rattle of hair metal, you know? Like at the very end of its life comes the best hair metal album, Appetite for Destruction. Fight me if you don't agree with it, you know. But yeah, it's would you say they are overrated? No, I don't think so. I mean, Slash is possibly one of the greatest guitarists, you know, out there ever. And I don't know, Use Your Illusion 1 and 2, I've got my reservations about those two albums. Spaghetti Incident, Say No More. But, I mean, they did have some really good tracks. I mean, shit, November Rain and all the rest. Welcome to the Jungle, of course. It is one of those songs that has kind of been overplayed because of movies and video games and all the rest of that, because it just seems such a perfect fit for the occasion, you know? You got some kind of jungle video game coming out. Welcome to the Jungle. Let's play that because it says jungle in the theme. Yeah, okay, cool. That hasn't been done before. But, yeah, you know, like, I mean, there's a lot of other songs. Anyway, do they deserve to be on this list? Let me know. I don't think so. Motley Crue. Yes, I do think they are overrated. Yes. They had a few real bangers, yes, as I said here, but past the 80s, did they even do anything? You know, when they kind of dissolved and blew up and did their thing, there wasn't much else to them. You know, I was reading another article that Motley Crue was saying, oh yeah, we brought the devil into music. You know, we were the ones who made it famous. Bitch, please, have you heard of Venom? You know, those guys were doing it for a few years before you guys were on the scene. And then even before that, do you know who the bloody hell Black Sabbath is? They were doing it for a decade before you were even there. You guys were kids when Black Sabbath were making the devil famous in music, so shut the fuck up. Yeah, Nikki Sixx, damn you. Idiot. So, Motley Crue, overrated? Yes. Definitely, I'd put them on this list. Yeah, I can see myself... Oh, I can see myself getting some hate for that one. The Rolling Stones. No. No, they are not overrated. Alright, so here we go. Okay, what's the reason in here? Keith Richards is a rock and roll icon, no doubt about that. Yeah, of course, the best music magazine took their name. Yep. But have you ever sat down and listened to an entire Rolling Stones album? Well, quite a few, yes. After a few songs, it all starts to meld together. Fuck! Have you never listened to any album by any artist? You know, you can go to Metallica, Megadeth, Ramones, freaking Post Malone, any artist. They all sound the same. They've all got that style. But when it comes down to it, I mean, have you listened to Exile on Main Street? Have you listened to Beggar's Banquet? That is the dumbest statement I've fucking heard in a while. They all start to meld together. Then that is either sleek production or fantastic songwriting. You know, Led Zeppelin's Physical Graffiti is an album that kind of sounds like one. Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon, that's an album that melded into one. That is pure perfection. But shut up and say that they're melding together like it's a damn, disappointing effort by the band. Their material from like the late 60s to the 70s, even up until the 80s with Tattoo You, is brilliant. So to say that, after a few songs it all starts to meld together is a cop-out. That is absolute shit. Pitiful writing. So you can see that it's already angering me. Not to mention the fact that they've definitely outlasted their fame. Oh, shut the fuck up. There are musicians still writing music about them, like the moves like Jagger and stuff like that. So, god damn it. How much of it... The Rolling Stones were outlasting their fame in the 70s when punk was becoming a thing. But the Rolling Stones still stuck around. Yes, they are the dinosaurs of rock and roll, been doing this for 60 years, but they're still doing it for a reason. They still have new young fans out there because it's good fucking music. This is bullshit that they've outlasted their fame. They don't need to do anything. They don't need to write any new music, because if they wrote new music, you would write an article saying, oh, this is the biggest hunk of shit, why are these guys writing stuff? They don't need to, they've got their back catalogue. That's exactly why they don't write their new music. They don't need to. They've got the back catalogue. They know that they don't need to write new music anymore. I'm perfectly happy knowing that Rolling Stones will never produce a new album. If anything, they've put out a few singles over the years, which haven't been too bad. I think the last thing they really did was Lonesome Blues, which was like a covers album from musicians back in like the 40s and stuff like that, all their artists that they got the influence from. But before that, I think it was a Bigger Bang in 2007. So, to give you an idea, that's how long it's been. 2007 since their last album. Proper studio album. So, have they outlasted their fame? No, they still sell out bloody gigs left, right and centre. Fuck off. What a stupid and benign argument. Oh god, no one can argue that back in the day the Rolling Stones were some of the best, but they should take a break and let other people have a chance in the spotlight. No, fuck no. They should tour until Keith Richards is the last man standing in 2644. He's not gonna die. Alright. Ooh, number 10 there. It's an interesting one. Creedence Clearwater Revival. So there's some interesting history regarding the CCR. What is it? They got like 5, 6 albums, I think. Nothing's very long in their catalogue. It's like half-hour albums or something. Yeah, some people hate John Fogerty's voice. Yeah, he's got a really irksome voice, but it's a bit endearing in my ears, at least when it comes to, some of their more famous material. I don't know, if I could ever hear the rain. Yeah, there's a few songs, I guess. No, not Brown Eyed Girl, it's Van Morrison. If I could ever see the rain, I guess I don't want to hear that again. I don't like his voice in that one. But mediocre at the best. Oh, that's a pretty interesting statement. I think they got some good songs. Overrated though. I think they're only famous because of the Vietnam War. I swear that's the only reason, and the only reason they've carried on their fame, because they died out like decades. I mean, they died out like decades ago. John Fogerty had his bloody arguments with the band, and the band would split into 2 factions and all this shit. And the only reason they kind of continued being famous was because every freaking Vietnamese war movie based in Vietnam seemed to want Creedence Clearwater's soundtrack in it. Yep, that's Vietnam War, baby. Yep, you're making a war movie on Vietnam? Alright, I'll go hit up John Fogerty's estate. Yep, okay, no worries. I've got their number on speed dial. All good, lads. Yeah. It's always the same when it comes to it. You either got to have... If it's Vietnam War, it's got to be CCR, Black Stones, Painted Black, maybe War Pigs if you're going adventurous there. Yeah, just... a few others. Jimi Hendrix... there's always these calls, and Jefferson Airplane to a degree. But yeah, CCR is like the forefront, and I feel that's the only reason they carry on their fame to this day. I don't think there's any original members left alive. Anyway, I could be wrong there. But yeah, the weird part was the band often snuck references of riverboats and riverboats into the lyrics when they weren't actually from California. Okay, not a single Bayou, I always mispronounce that, in Los Angeles the last time we checked. Who cares? If you want to write songs about bayous and riverboats, go nuts. Doesn't matter. David Bowie wrote songs about, people from Mars. He didn't come from there, or at least to our knowledge. So, anyway, Fleetwood Mac. Ooh, this list is creating a dust storm, I feel. Fleetwood Mac's an interesting beast, because you can really split the band camp into 2. Before Stevie Nicks joined the band, and after. So, I've only listened to, I think, 1 or 2 albums before Stevie Nicks joined, and they're a pretty interesting little blues rock kind of outfit, going for that 60s, 70s sound. It's almost generic. I wouldn't describe it as fully generic, but it's not bad. But when Stevie Nicks joined, yeah, shit, did they pump it up into 6th gear there. They had massive success, of course, with, Rumours. But other than Rumours, I don't know if I've listened to anything other than Rumours. Outside of their singles, I don't think I could recall any of their other tracks. I've never really had the time to listen to their studio albums. They're not one of those bands that I just find myself going to, go back and say, oh yeah, I feel like listening to XYZ album, because why not? I love Fleetwood Mac. No, I don't. I know them as a singles band, and that's about it. So I guess by that logic, that would make them an overrated band purely because of their fame, versus me only knowing them as a singles band. So by default, sorry, that does make them an overrated band. People are going to hate on that one, I know it. Landslide's a really good song though. Fantastic cover as well by Smashing Pumpkins. If you haven't heard of it, it's on the Pisces Iscariot, I think. The Pisces album. It's got that weird blurred kind of greenish bluish cover to it. Anyway, listen to it. Stevie Nicks even gave her nod of approval for that cover. So yeah, really worth it. Oh, number 12, Deep Purple. Yeah, that's because of Smoke on the Water, isn't it? Yep. Because every basic guitar player is going to learn Smoke on the Water because it's such a simple riff. You know, but let's have a look here. What else? Okay, besides Smoke on the Water and writing one of the greatest rock albums of all time, why? What is their logic here? So, we may just destroy that guitar once and for all. Yes, it's a shame because Deep Purple was actually one of the great hard rock bands of the 70s, but all their reputation has gone through a phase of overcorrection. Overcorrection? What could they mean? If not for the incessant drone of people claiming that they're in fact underrated, I've never heard them being underrated. Never have I heard Deep Purple being called underrated. They might never have made this list. If that's your sole decision alone, then that's fucking dumb. I've never ever heard any musician ever call, you know, or other band or musical narrative bloody writing ever call them underrated. If I see lists when it comes to underrated bands, I've never seen people say Deep Purple. Everyone knows Deep Purple. Every rock musician and fan of rock knows Deep Purple. You know, that is the dumbest, shittiest statement right there I've read. And this has been a list full of dumb and stupid statements. Alright, whatever, let's go on. The ultimate dad rock band. Their songs are less... I don't know, dad rock, shut up. Dad rock's like akin to yacht rock and... You know... That is so stupid. Anyway, their songs are less timeless than people make them out to be. Are they, though? Because if people are still coming back to learn Smoke on the Water, then that really says that it is a timeless band, doesn't it? If that's the main riff that everyone knows, then it is a timeless riff. That riff was written in 72. Or 71? 72. So that riff has been around for 51 years coming up. It's timeless. So, yes, their songs... Okay, besides Smoke on the Water then, what else is there? There's Highway Star, Child in Time, The Mule... There's, just the entire Machine Head album. Deep Purple in rock, I feel, is the better album of the bands. But what else could you come up with? They have got a plethora of albums, like 20 albums at least, to my knowledge. And this is before getting into the Steve Morse era, you know, with the 90s, when it goes to like Perpendicular and Bananas. Yeah, I know it's a shitty album title, but anyway, Perpendicular, really good album. It shows Stephen Morse coming in and bringing in his style, you know, which is more pinch harmonics and stuff. And people do make fun of them because, you know, they've had now 9 lineups. Mark 9 is the newest lineup once Stephen Morse left the band and the new guitarist was brought in. So technically now it's Mark 9, and I might even be wrong, it might be Mark 10. But I actually made a list a long time ago based on all the Mark variants of Deep Purple to check that out now if you want to go through the history of Deep Purple, their lineup changes, who was in the band, and for what albums. So, yeah, interesting there. Dad rock, fuck off. Yeah, not overrated, if anything. I've never heard them being called underrated. Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band. Shit, how long is this list? It's got 13 here. So, Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band. I've never been a big fan of them. I feel jealous because my dad, he went to see Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band, and Tom Morello was with them. And I haven't seen Rage Against the Machine or Tom Morello, so he got to see Tom Morello before I did. But I don't know. I know when it comes to Bruce Springsteen, he's doing like 3-hour plus performances. Man, I could barely stand 3 or 4 songs by Bruce Springsteen. They do all sound pretty generic to me, and you know, I'm a working class man type of thing, and so for me, yeah, I get it. But the Ghost of Tom Joad is a kick-ass track. Yeah, I'd probably put them a bit overrated. I don't really listen to them too much, so yeah, I'll agree with that one there. Kiss. Ew, people are gonna go nuts. This list is nuts. Is Kiss overrated? Yes, purely because Gene Simmons is in the band. That guy is overrated. Look, they're not fantastic musicians per se, but I don't mind a bit of their earlier stuff, if I'm being honest. You know, Detroit Rock, Destroyer, and even some of their stuff from like the 90s, like Psycho Circus was a pretty kick-ass track. So, yeah, look, I don't mind a bit of Kiss, but at the same time, I'm not running around trying to listen to them. Do I think they're overrated? A bit, yes. Yeah. Although they did start the whole, I guess, they're probably one of the original bands that started the mask-wearing thing, so give them that. Anyway, what else? Iron Maiden. Let's see here. They had a very specific demographic for fans who just get it. Really? The problem is so many people just don't. Okay, to be perfectly fair, they've churned out some classics, including their legendary 1984 album Power Slave. What about Number of the Beast? But unfortunately, so much of the rest of the music tends to land in the generic heavy metal category. Yeah, I see where he's coming from in that perspective, as someone who has not listened to much Iron Maiden. At the end of the day, Iron Maiden, similar to Kiss, were masters of showmanship and entertainment. To be clear, we in no way see this as a bad thing. It's just that their visual gimmick and theatrical approach became their whole persona, while their action music sadly suffered as a result. I beg to differ. It comes hand in hand. The theatrical side of things go hand in hand with the band, and the band's first 5, maybe 6 albums are incredible. And I am talking about up from their self-titled album, Killers, Number of the Beast, Power Slave, Peace of Mind. I'd probably end the list there. Somewhere in Time's a bit, for me, it's a bit, it's okay, but I could live without it. But, I mean, even when you went further along into their career, where Bruce Dickinson came back to Brave New World, you know, to me, I really want to do a list coming up soon from worst to best Iron Maiden albums, and, you know, tell it like it is for all their albums, and then revisit that list, say, 6 months down the track, because Iron Maiden's albums fluctuate for me from worst to best, and it's one of those bands that does rarely do that. You know, for me, if any other musicians, Metallica, whatever, I pretty much have my my albums in concrete almost. But when it comes to Iron Maiden, it fluctuates a lot. Depends on how I feel at the time, and you know, if I want to go back to that 80s kind of sound, yeah, I'm going to be listening to, you know, Peace of Mind or, you know, Power Slave and stuff like that. But then, you know, the more proggy elements, say, of A Matter of Life and Death, what was that other one? Brave New World, and the one with the worst album cover in the world. It's completely escaped me the name of the album. That I'll have to actually check it now, just because I'm having a complete brain fart today. It's pretty warm here, so maybe that might be why. We'll say that it is. Dance of Death, that's the one with the terrible album cover. Yeah, so, you know, those ones, like, Passchendaele is one of my favourite Iron Maiden songs of all time. The Book of Souls as well. You know, they introduced some very proggy heavy metal elements to that with very long pieces, and I thought that was a really good one. The recent effort, Senjutsu, I could live without. I don't particularly care. It's kind of like Satellite 15. I've gone over that in a 5-minute review, but yeah, you know, I think I'll cover one day very soon Iron Maiden's worst to best, and then redo the list 6 months later just to see if it's changed. So keep an eye out for that, everyone. Number 16, Crosby, Stills and Nash. Yeah, I'm gonna say, look, I love I love Neil Young, which isn't in this list, actually. They're mentioning Crosby, Stills and Nash, not Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. But yes, they are a bit overrated. They're just a bunch of hippies doing melodic vocals, and yeah, it's not my style. I don't really like it, so yeah, I'll agree with that list. Song. I'll agree with that band choice there. 9 Inch Nails in number 17. You know that thing where one critic calls someone a genius and then the idea sticks and people can't get it out of their head? We can't help but wonder if that's Trent Reznor got labelled a genius. How? Up the Downward Spiral was a game changer when it came out. There's no doubt about that. There's a reason why he is a genius. It's because he changed the whole scene. Up the Down... Oh, God. This fucking writer, I don't know what to say. Yeah, this is interesting to say the least. He also won a Grammy for his song, which... I mean, what was it? He mentioned... It's the line in it anyway. The main point of the song that I'm talking about here is the fact that the line in the song mentions fist fuck, and it's Trent Reznor read on record about winning the Grammy for this song, where he goes, "I'm so glad that I won a Grammy for this because I now get to say that I won a Grammy with the lyrics of a song saying fist fuck in it." So yeah, that one is, I think it was right off his first album. I'm just trying to go back here. Pretty Hate Machine. Da, 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 da. La, la, la. Down in it? No. Fuck. I don't know which one it is. It's definitely not off the Downward Spiral. It was off Pretty Hate Machine, but I can't think of which one it is. Was it Terrible Lie? No, Head Like a Hole maybe? Anyway. Point remains. He won a Grammy for a song and had the lyric fist fuck, and he wants that on his gravestone. Overrated? No. Anyway, whatever. 9 Inch Nails blew the minds. Critics have gone praise the band, but beyond all the blips and gadgets, racist music lacked a certain traditional aesthetic. Of course it did. It was industrial metal. It was just different. Whatever anyone else is saying, it's still pretty important. Of course it's pretty... Okay, this is a frustrating list to read. And that's intentional, I know that. But anyway, it says here that Reznor's music lacked a certain traditional aesthetic that, whatever anyone else might say, is still pretty important. Of course, but if we didn't push the traditional music, we'd still be writing folk tales from the frickin' 16th century. You know, there's a reason why blues pushed traditional music into a newer realm. You know, classical music was the tradition, and then there was the blues delta movement, and then there was the jazz movement. All of these things are massively different as far as traditional aesthetic music goes. And the 90s pushed traditional aesthetic as far as the realm could have gone in so many different areas. So that's the dumbest statement. Yes, it's important, of course, but if we didn't evolve, we'd be stagnating and just listening to the same crap. And that's why I feel like at the moment we're kind of stuck in a bit of a loop with music, and we need something to really push us over the edge. So yeah, I kind of get the feeling that in the next year or two there's going to be a giant, movement for music. It's felt a bit stale for the last year or more than that, probably the last 3 or 4 years. And I'm talking about the pop scene in particular here. So there's going to be something coming up soon, I feel. I would not know what. I cannot tell you, but there is definitely going to be something coming up soon that just changes the scene completely. What it is, we're not entirely sure. I had a feeling Pearl Jam would make this list. I didn't know why. I just had a feeling. Okay, so... yeah. The placement of Pearl Jam here. So what is their reasoning here? There was such a strong representation of the 90s Seattle grunge scene. They'll be forever memorialized there and amongst their fans all around the world. But as iconic as they are, here's our argument for why, in fact, they are overrated. Down, 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 past the ads. We've got no problem with Eddie Vedder's voice or any of the musicians. From a performance standpoint, these cats could always cook. Our main issue lies in their songs. Bluntly put, their compositions were never that interesting. As much as Vedder could sing, we would have preferred a more toned-down vocal delivery if it meant his melodies were actually going somewhere. Yeah, Gigaton was a shit album. I I don't care what people have to say. Gigaton was a shit album. For me, they haven't really done a great album since the Avocado album or Pearl Jam's the second self-titled or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, since that, what was it, 2007 release, they haven't done much for me. So I can't say they're overrated, but they haven't done anything good in a long time. Does that make them overrated? Maybe. Number 19, The Doors. Interesting here. So, it's not so much that The Doors are overrated, rather than it's just Jim Morrison who's overrated. Ooh. Big call. From a musical standpoint, The Doors were incredibly unique for their time. They pushed the musical envelope, creating a different, like the point you were trying to make above with 9 Inch Nails. They were pushing the musical scene. So yes, anyway, The Doors were actually incredibly unique for their time. Yep, the core of their instrument sound shined roughly through blah 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 blah. Eclectic organ grooves. Eerie guitar riffs, and John Densmore's present drums. Lead singer John Morrison's smooth, bassy, heavy vocals was the cherry on top. But here's why he's overrated. Why is he overrated, everyone? While Morrison's lyrics certainly had their own wistful charm about them, people deified his words. I thought that said defied. Deified his words like he was the second coming of Christ. Yeah, look, I get that point, actually. Everyone thought that he was a god, bloody sex symbol. His image is kind of everywhere, that, the one. But, yeah, I kind of get that point. But that's rockstar life for you, Hendrix, around that time as well. A lot of musicians were deified, and they still are to these days. It just depends what you're looking at, You could look at, say, Nikki Sixx or whatever. Sorry, not Nikki Sixx. You could look at Justin Timberlake, for example, I guess. Or, I don't know, any of the Madonna in the 80s. Any musician has been always deified. Maybe Jim Morrison more so. But that's also, I think more so the reason, in particular now, is because of his joining of the 27 Club. Musicians who die young have legendary status because of what they could have achieved but never did. So, I guess it's fair to say that they are a bit overrated. In particular, when you listen to some of his poetry shit, it's self-indulgent tripe, I think, is the best way to summarize that. It's just crap. I mean, even when you look at, the way he passed away, it was sad. He drank himself into stupor in Paris, and I think, didn't he drown while drunk or something in a bathtub? I can't remember. But yeah, shadow of him, his former self towards the end of his days. Yeah, but I get why they're saying that they're overrated. For me, the first album is pretty much it. I don't listen to anything else. Of course, Riders of the Storm. Foo Fighters. This is pretty interesting. So, yeah, not long after the death of fellow bandmate Kurt Cobain, Dave Grohl formed his own band, Foo Fighters, which he played all the musical instruments on the first album. First album's really good, actually. Suggest going back to listen to that if you haven't already, Foo Fighters fans. It is really good, gets overshadowed by the follow-up albums, but anyway, yeah. As far as being overrated, I don't know. But as passionate as Grohl could be on stage, his singing has always felt a bit forced. It's probably forced? I don't know. It's probably because he's a bit limited. The guy's not a vocal, I wouldn't call him a vocal messiah or in any kind of way. He always sounds like he's emulating what he believes true rock and roll sound should be while checking off the boxes one by one. Oh, you did a funny right there, didn't you? While checking off the boxes one by one. Distorted guitars, howling vocals, thunder drums, and it's all there, sitting nearly in a row, blah blah blah. Anyway, but yeah, so yeah, it's been more than a checklist, and ironically, his songs have always lacked a certain punch. That's stupid, and again, like, That's dumb to say such a thing. Everlong is like one of the greatest songs from the 90s. Oh, My Hero and other songs like that are incredible. So, lacked a certain punch. Have you ever heard the live versions of Everlong? Like when they just turn out the guitar and let the entire crowd sing out? How has that lacked a certain punch? Oh, shit, man. I don't even know what to say regarding that. Oh, this is dumb. My frustration is building. Oy. Well, I think I'll have to cut the episode here, and I'll probably make a part 2 for this list. It's actually longer than I thought, but it's been pretty fun, to say the least, talking about these bands that are overrated. So, yeah, this is is quite the controversial list. I didn't know what to expect when I started reading over it anyway. When I saw the link initially, because all I saw was the link, and I thought, oh, this could be a fun thing to cover. This is a really frustrating thing to cover, and I'm almost regretting it. But I hope that you guys are finding this entertaining, in particular my commentary regarding said matters on these musicians. And yeah, the list, it's taking its toll on me. I can't believe I've got to make a part 2. This list is incredibly long. I get the feeling that there's actually 100 on here, but I will check back later. Anyway, people, if you have enjoyed this video, don't forget to like this video, subscribe if you can. Thank you as well in advance if you do so. Tell me, people, what you think about this list so far. This is only 40 bands out of this list. Did you think that any of these were mistakenly put on there? Do you think others should be placed on this list? Always interested, and I'll try to read every single one of your comments and get back to you as well. And as always, people, you have a great day and stay spicy. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Live Listen Erased. And if you have enjoyed this episode, make sure you share it with all your friends. Don't forget to subscribe to our Chili Con Carnage crew so you can get notified for all the future videos that we put out, as we put out videos every Friday. Also, we are on Discord, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter over at Live Listen Erased, so make sure to tune in over there. And don't forget to like this video so that our manager can stay very happy.